Hello, gentle people and robots from Earth. Welcome to the planet Truth, which is located in a parallel universe. It is just like Earth, but people are more likely to be frank and honest when they speak. Here is a conversation between Jane from the political Tea Party and Lane from the Democrat Party here on Planet Truth.
Hello, Lane. My name is Jane. I am from the Tea Party.
I am Lane and I am a Democrat. Democrats like labor unions.
Would you please explain labor unions to our audience?
Certainly. Labor unions are exclusive clubs which restrict membership and a form of labor monopoly so that we can drive the price of labor up.
But aren't monopolies illegal?
Not when it comes to labor monopolies, they aren't.
It would be illegal for automobile manufacturers to get together and decide which price they were going to charge for their cars.
Yes, it would. They should be thrown in jail if they engage in such monopolistic practices.
But what if one of the companies bought out the other two companies?
That would be illegal because it would become a monopoly. Monopolies are bad unless, of course, they are labor monopolies. Did you see how we did pattern bargaining? We would pick on one car company at first. By shutting them down with a strike, we could get them to give in to our excessive demands.
Yes, but eventually they would run out of money to keep paying more, wouldn't they?
Actually, that is sort of what happened.
So, what did you do?
We got the older workers with seniority to keep their higher wages and let the car companies hire in younger workers for lower wages.
Sort of a two-tier system?
Yes, exactly. You know how the Social Security system works? The older people get the benefits and the younger workers pay the bill. By the time that the younger workers are ready to retire, there won't be anything left for them. Isn't it just wonderful?
But if the same labor union represented the older workers at all three large American automobile manufacturers, it would be okay.
Yes. It would be just great. In fact, we used our monopoly powers to drive up the price of labor so high that 2 out of 3 of those manufacturers were driven into bankruptcy. Isn't that just wonderful?
Well, I am not sure that I would call it wonderful. How are you helping the American corn farmer?
Well, as you know, Iowa is where the first political primaries are held for presidential elections. Iowa is also a corn state.
So, you mean to say that you want to bribe the Iowa corn farmers to get their votes in the primaries?
Why not? We are doing that by driving up the price of corn in an artificial manner.
What do you mean?
Well, first we came up with the fictional story of human-made global warming.
But doesn't the sun and cosmic rays determine our climate for the most part? And isn't it true that the temperature is rising on the other planets in our solar system?
Well, yes, but how would that allow us to manipulate people? To get them to do what we want, we have to appeal to their large egos and convince them that humans can significantly change the weather if they don't do what we say they should.
Oh, that is right. Politicians like to make up problems and then tell you that they are the right ones to solve them.
Then we supply the solution, which consists of taking 40% of the corn crop and turning it into ethanol, which is used as a gasoline additive.
So, how has that worked so far?
People complained that we were using up corn, so we explained that we were using only the starch converted to sugar and that the protein is fed to cattle.
Did they buy it?
Not totally. Then we tried advertising that the type of corn that we use for ethanol is not fit for human consumption.
Did that work? After all, the same land obviously could have been used to grow edible corn.
Most people don't notice that we could switch back to edible corn. They aren't that analytical and logical.
Perhaps they figure that if they heard it on the radio, it must be true.
It is easy to fool people. Most people think that those people who lobby only try to influence Congress. Actually, they influence the voters as well.
Don't you feel like you are a slime ball?
Oh, sure I do. But at least I am an honest slime ball. We burn lots of diesel in the harvesters and lots of natural gas in making the fertilizer. If the production of ethanol actually cut down the consumption of oil and natural gas, then the oil lobby wouldn't back the ethanol legislation.
Aren't people going to find out that you are simply wasting more fossil fuels and that the ethanol isn't a net gain?
No, the voters aren't that smart. We have driven the price of corn up substantially, but we are managing to blame it on other reasons. The OPEC nations were manipulating the price of corn in the futures markets, for example.
Either way, doesn't that create inflation?
No, we have arranged the means of measuring inflation so that the increased price of corn hardly even shows up.
But what about places in the world where food is a large percentage of their income? Aren't people going to starve?
Well, so far, the people in Egypt started to riot because of the high price of food. Isn't that just dandy?
But now the unrest is spreading to other countries as well.
Well, we elected a Democrat president on the basis that he would get us out of 2 wars.
Then they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. Is he getting us out of the wars?
Well, not really. By increasing the price of food, he caused riots which spread, and the end effect is that he just got us into a 3rd war, fighting Gaddafi in Libya.
Is that the change that you voted for?
I have your change clinking in my pocket.
He must be in an underground bunker discussing strategy with his generals.
Not really. He was visiting Brazil at the time and made the declaration of war from Brasilia.
Did he get Congress to declare war like the U.S. Constitution dictates?
No, presidents haven't paid any attention to that detail for 60 years.
Don't you think that we should discuss a new war in Congress?
No, why bother with that? There isn't time to do it right.
But if you don't find time to do it right, won't you have to find time to do it over?
Well, all of the Muslims like to have the Christians come in with a crusade once in a while.
Al-Qaeda will be running most of North Africa by the time we are through.